they spent so much of their money sending me to like the best high school that I could get into, pushing me to go through college, and then I drop out / flunk.
People just don't know how you think, and so they just say you're weird. I get weird all the time. I'm sure you get it. I'm sure you get it. Like, we all get weird. Let's get a clap going. Enoch, you want to do the honors? Sweet. We all just do it. Yeah, ready? On the same thing. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, that wasn't bad.
Not bad.
That is not going to help the editors.
That peaked so high.
So guys, welcome to Good Talks, where we just have good talks on this podcast, and I'm just trying to introduce some amazing people that have a good heart for either a passion, an event, or a cause, or anything, right? And their careers. Let's have you kind of introduce yourself, Law.
Yeah, my name's Lawrence Sharma, but I go by Law. Nice. I'm like an actor, host, producer out here in LA. Just kind of living the entertainment dream right now, or chasing it. I'm one of those guys chasing it.
Just to follow up a couple questions,
sure.
Like how long have you been doing this?
Oh man, I feel like I've been like making things, content, like videography and stuff since I was at least 18, so it's been a long time, over a decade for sure.
40 years.
It's been 45 years that I've been in this industry.
I saw his first video.
Yes, yeah, it was.
You did?
I did, yeah.
Well, I want you to explain it, and then I want to see if he is.
I was the videographer on a live birth for a 45-year-old.
Yeah.
So
I was there.
It was taking it right back.
Head came out.
But yeah, no, I've been. I've been out in LA for 8 years, so I feel like that's been a little bit more of the grind, but I did get my start in the Bay Area where I'm from. I was like, I started just like most videographers do, doing like wedding videography, industrial, contracts, freelance work for people, taking pictures of products for people.
So this guy.
You become a multi-tool, and you be like one of my things that I always say is you have to be undeniable when you're on a job.
Yeah.
And part of being undeniable is the fact that you like are practiced and seasoned. So it's good to pick up all those skills, I think.
Jack of all trades.
Yes, but master at
one of them.
Maybe. It depends on the person.
That saying is like the whole thing. I did not know that, because there's the film Master of None.
Master of None, right? The show, yeah.
And the whole saying is the jack of all trades will always be the. Oh, freak! What was that saying? It was like the jack of all trades will. What was it? Master of none. Oh my gosh!
I think he was saying it earlier. No,
right. Jack of all trades, but the master of none, basically.
No. It's like the master of. No, sorry. The jack of all trades will always be better than the master of one.
Oh.
It was like this saying by like Shakespeare.
Yeah, it's a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
There you go. That's the whole thing. And I was like, oh, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
But there's like those Olympians, and I'm like, I'd rather be an Olympian than like doing a whole bunch of random stuff.
What are you good at? I throw this stick real far, and that's about all I do.
Yeah.
Hey, but I'm an Olympian.
That's true. Yeah.
Like I look at for the biggest example right now is probably Chloe Kim, right? I mean, she's like super good at snowboarding, but no one knows anything else that she does, and I'm sure she does, right? But like, I would rather be her than doing like 50 other things kind of decent,
Yeah.
Oh, I guess like what would you guys choose? Which path?
I mean, I think it would be really wonderful to be like a master at something. Like if I could be like a masterclass actor and just that, and that's what I'm known for, I would love that. But like my perspective now is that I've gotten so many opportunities because I've been the jack of all trades, right? Because you prove to yourself, like when people are hiring, it's just like, oh, can you edit? Can you shoot? Can you be on camera?
Yeah.
And if I could say yes to all those things, at least I'm working consistently. But would it be cool to be Chloe Kim and get a Fortnite skin? Yeah. I guess.
She has a Fortnite skin?
I'm pretty sure she has a Fortnite skin.
Okay, I wouldn't be surprised at this point. Honestly, she's surprised. So amazing. Like I only knew of her name, and then I just like started watching it, and then watching her like perform, And I was like, I wish I was that. Like, and she was 18, right? She was like 18 when she
was really young, yeah.
Yeah, and she's 21 now or something, 22. But
It's crazy.
that's insane.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like she did it when she was birthed, you know? Like, it was curated by
Yeah,
her parents.
she came out of the womb with a snowboard. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Her poor mother.
She slid out of there like
No,
a
rich
like a
mother.
Half, a half pipe. You know, she just...
Yeah, she
Out of
just,
there.
yeah. She did a 360 coming out.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we're going into a whole new dimension right now. But yeah, with that kind of like being said, like today I wanted to talk to you about like the industry of being in media, right? And like you've been around it for quite some time now. And how many years? Like a decade, right?
Let's call it a decade.
Yeah, let's just round up. Yeah, even if it's at 6.
God, that makes me sound so old. Yeah.
But I've also been in a decade now. So as Enoch, like we've been
Oh, we're all old.
around. But we're at a different age, obviously.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, not to point that out, sorry.
Perspectively,
geriatric law.
If we're all the same like age, then we're young, right? Or we can be old or young.
Oh,
I'm young at heart.
Like if everybody's old, no one's old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a judgment-free zone. You know?
Nah, I'm judging. Okay. I prefer to judge. It's more
I
fun.
tried. Okay, I tried.
No, but yeah, the reason why I wanted to talk, or at least what I wanted to talk about today was like entering this field, right? This media space of digital content creation and, you know, as a starving artist, right? Like I'm pretty sure you've been there, and you might still be there. Who knows? I don't know 100% where people define starving, and so I wanted to dive a little deeper because you are an actor. It's a completely different field than what I've been through and what everyone else has been through behind the cameras, and so like how has that been for you, and what changed, like when you were a videographer and then now you're like, I want to be an actor?
Yeah, I mean, they're completely different fields. It feels like, they're connected by like a common goal to create something, but it's like a completely different process. I feel like when I moved out here, I was taking freelance work, just like videoing things, editing a bunch. But then when it started transitioning to where I wanted to be talent, like on camera, whether it's interviewing or acting and stuff, it was like a completely different ballgame. I still feel really green at it, to be honest. Like
what does that mean to be green?
Fresh. I feel like there's a naivety there still, where it's like I haven't been as scorned as some other actors have been. You know what I mean? But like I've had a couple wins, have a couple losses, but it's been overwhelming at times, and it doesn't make you feel good a lot of the time. But I think if you're passionate, that's like what's gonna like carry you through, is if you actually like care about what you are doing. You know what I mean? That's like gonna carry you through. And I think that's the only reason I'm like starting to book things, is because like you find the right network of people, but it is hard to find. And we touched base on this a little earlier, but it's like you start learning who you can trust, who you like can work with, like, and it's not always going to be the people that you like. It's like not everyone that you like will be a good like business partner or like manager or whatever it is. Like not everyone will be that resource in maybe that particular journey. It's been weird, because it's just like you're juggling different aspects, and on top of that, I'm still a producer in editing and shooting stuff on top of all that. So it's like you have my job, and then you have my job, and then what I want to be. You know what I mean?
The way we met, right, is very random, right? But it's also such an LA thing. It's like mutual friends, and you bump into people. And when I told Enoch about like you, he was like, "Sounds so familiar," and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's like Law, like Lawrence." And he's like, interviews a lot of people. He's like, I know him. I was like, of course you do. Like, everyone knows everyone here, which is amazing. And how I met you was through mutual friends, Josh and Ollie, great guys. And
shout out to Jolly.
Yeah, and then ever since I've been following you, you've been doing great interviews. Like, I see them, and you post them, and it's amazing. I think the biggest one I'm a fan of is when Oh, there's two that I remember, but the biggest one was the one with Randall Park, and you show him the card trick. I was like, you really like went for it.
Yeah.
I would be too nervous or like shy to like make a joke like that because I don't know how he's gonna interpret it. But I'm sure like it seemed like he was flattered, like that you made a gesture to dive into something he's like known for, right?
Yeah.
How did that feel?
One of my goals whenever I do these interviews is if I can get them to laugh or like some kind of rapport building in the moment, because you only get like 4 or 5 minutes with these people, right? And then over Zoom, it's even more difficult to connect with someone because it's like we're both looking through screens. So like the Blockbuster thing, that was like a risk because it was just like it could have flipped out of my hand. I had to make the cards. I like went to Kinko's and printed them out, got like a plastic covering and stuff. And I just practiced that card trick. And right before the interview, I was actually like, every time I practiced, it was like flying out of my hand. And I was like, no, this can't happen today. And then I actually, in that clip, when I do the magic trick, just like Jimmy Woo, I actually don't do it as clean as I wanted to.
Yeah.
But you just gotta roll with it, right?
You did it though.
And the reactions, oh man, it makes it all worth it, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a cool memory to have, and you hope that you made part of their day special because the press days are long, you know, like for everyone.
I love that. I was like, this guy went for it. Like if I was meeting Randall Park for the first time, like I don't know if I would do that, but like
You mean Jim?
oh yeah, Jim,
Jim
Asian
Hopper,
Jim,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah, or just Jim. Sorry, forgot. There's no Asianness in there, but. Yeah, that was amazing. That was a while ago.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then the other one was recently with White Castle with Harold from Harold and Kumar, right? And you're just like making jokes with him about you being you've never went to White Castle, right?
Yeah,
and still you haven't.
I've never been to an actual restaurant. Like my mom would buy us like the frozen ones.
Oh, no.
But I've never been to an actual White Castle. So, and it's so funny because Harold and Kumar was such a like defining moment in my like. I think I was in high school.
I think most people,
Yeah, and so it's just like because Cal Penn, Indian American guy, or Indian American, but and then John Cho, Korean American, right? It's just like I used to make the joke that I am both Harold and Kumar, even though I'm not Korean. It's just like. I'm Asian and South Asian mixed, and so that was a big moment because this year I met both Harold and Kumar because of my work, which is crazy to think about. Yeah.
And you wouldn't have known that like 10 years ago, right? Because you're just like a fan. And I think that's the beauty in like working in this industry. It's like when you keep growing these little like sparks of joy that like really make it worth it.
Yeah.
I think like growing up, so Enoch, by the way, guys, this is Enoch. I know last time we had Eli. We just choose people with the letter E, I guess, to be our moderator.
I'm Eli's little brother.
He wishes, but
He's old. I do wish.
Except Enoch's older. Eli's like 22.
Oh, he is?
Anyways, so Enoch and I went to high school together, and we did film and everything, and we were like really into YouTube, like so obsessed with it. Like that's how we clicked. And then
we were in that Casey Neistat era.
Not even before Casey Neistat.
Pre-Casey Neistat.
Like we were obsessed with like Wong Fu, Ryan Higa, JK, all of them, right? And then I think growing up, like we tried our best to like always work with them, and just went down that path. And then obviously it's college and stuff that's not fun. But Enoch did it. Like he went to college and like finished. Right? Am I?
Yes.
Yeah, right. I saw you graduate. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you saw me graduate. Yeah.
Okay.
2 years ago.
Yeah, and then you graduated.
University.
I did graduate.
Wow.
But I did take some time off.
Okay.
Yeah. How long?
I don't even think it was a year. I think it was like maybe a semester, but it was enough time for me to like recalibrate. Yes. So actually, it was kind of a point of contention in my family because I failed out of college.
Wow.
My freshman year, I'm just not an academic in that way. I don't think I'm dumb. Yeah. I'm not dumb. Sorry, I had to say that to the audience directly.
I think we're in a generation where we understand that like schooling's meant for certain career paths, but it's not for everybody.
Yeah. But you got traditional. My mom's Filipina, my dad's Indian. They had very different expectations for where they wanted my life to go.
Yeah.
And because of that pressure and like depression, and I think I just had gotten out of like a good relationship or like a serious relationship, you know? So like all of that kind of coalesced into me not caring anymore. And then I took a break, made some compromises in my family being like, I'll go back to school, but it has to be in something that I want. And so I did finish school for digital filmmaking and video production, but before it was like I started as a nursing major and then I went to advertising.
Classic.
And then I stopped. I just like worked at Jamba Juice for a while in between.
Nice. What was your favorite smoothie?
Ooh, you know what I did is I used to do the matcha green tea blast, but I would add blueberries and bananas.
That's a good one.
It's
I would
actually
always
really
get
good.
the white gummy bear.
Yeah, that's like ice. It's like ice cream and a scoop of peaches.
Yeah.
Isn't there like one that's like Jesus Save Me or something?
There is supposed to be, but we never had a recipe for that. So people would come in and say, "I'll like the Jesus loves you" or like the Jesus saves you.
Is
or
Jamba
something.
Juice a Christian company?
No, it's just like a secret menu item. I think
Yeah, I don't know why.
someone made it.
That's
yeah.
like going to In-N-Out and be like, let me get the freaking Jesus
The
my
Cali
Savior
style.
Hallelujah fries.
Yeah, the Hallelujah fries. Oh, those are good.
Those were good, man. Those made me.
It's just the regular fries, but we dump a bunch of holy
Yeah,
water.
whipped
on
cream on top. Or their milkshakes. That'd be sick. Anyways,
I think you just ordered it separately.
I think we just got a sponsor for this.
Oh my god.
if In-N-Out sponsored, I would surpass everybody. No one has ever got into In-N-Out sponsor.
That's true, except for God.
Yeah, you're right. He used to no, he sponsors them.
He sponsors them. You're right. You're right.
but
In abundance.
Yeah.
In abundance.
But yeah, just going back, like Enoch and I, like it's been about like 10 years. I started making videos when I was 16 and I'm 26 now. And I'm sure Enoch's played around, like he's been editing before I met you, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, the reason why I got into film was because my dad had this point and shoot, and then I brought it to school when I was in like 4th grade, and literally like I was like the kind of kid that was like very like antisocial kind of person, like very introverted.
Weird.
I was very
Enoch
weird.
was really weird.
But when I brought my
worked.
camera to school, like people like my friends were like intrigued, so we just like shot these random like clips of like going on the slide, you know, doing the seesaw, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it had a little playback, and I remember like one day I was playing it back, and a lot of people were interested, so they were just watching, and so I handed my camera off to my friend, and then I took a step back, and I just saw how many different faces were like gathered to like watch something really stupid. But to me, that was like, wow, it didn't matter like what race you were, what popularity level you were, like how funny you were. Anyone can enjoy film and
A
entertainment.
memory. That's what it clicked to me, because it's like when you show somebody a photo, it's like, oh, they want to look at it, right?
Yeah.
And then when you show somebody a video, like they want to look at it, right? And at the end, it's a memory, and not a lot of people had access to that, right?
Yeah.
To a nice
I mean,
camera.
even,
That's a good point. Yeah.
Even to this day, like there'll be people sharing my photos from elementary school that I took, like as memories. Yeah, and
Wow.
I think for me, I think that's why I love film so much, because it's timeless. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is timeless. Yeah. There was a saying back then, something about it, like how it's precious because you won't ever get that photo ever again.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
And that's what they tell you in the wedding business.
Yeah. Anyways, trauma.
Yeah, let's not do that right now.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. We were
Yeah,
all
yeah.
we all been there.
But and I think just being in this field for so long, you've seen the transition, you've seen the change, right? And it started off from watching traditional films like movies and cinema, or as they say, theater, right? That was the main thing. Like the first time you saw Jackie Chan, it's amazing how like digital media has came instead of traditional,
Yeah.
right? And digital just became so overpowering. And at this point, like we saw the difference, and I wanted to dive a little more deep. I wanted to dive deeper. Like you are at the age of where like everyone else was when they started, right? And so like I want to know more about how you kind of felt growing up, because we know our story. You know our story. We can always talk about that another time. But like your story on like, you know, growing up with these, like, who did you look up to growing up? And then what were like some of the hardest points, like, as pursuing this like dream of yours?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'm like an official latchkey kid, but I spent a lot of time being raised by like a television, you know what I mean? And consuming a lot of media, whether it's at my godbrother's house or a daycare I was being dropped at. My parents worked 2 jobs each growing up. So they worked really hard. You know, we've never been more than a lower middle class family, you know? And so I definitely get my work ethic from them, because it's like we don't quit kind of is like the lesson I learned from them more than anything. But in terms of like where I drew inspiration of is those Saturday morning cartoons and stuff, you know, doing voices. It was just a matter of mimicry. It's just like you hear it, you do it. And it came to a point that like my family members would see me like want to sing or dance or something, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're talented, huh?" And it's just like, yeah, I've got talent. But, you know, like I have these vivid memories of my mom. She saw me dancing to Men in Black by Will Smith. Remember that song?
Oh, and she told you to do it at all the family
Every family event. I put the sunglasses and the suit on. I have this little Turbo Man figure, if you guys know Turbo Man from Jingle All the Way. He came with this little like gun that went on his wrist, but to me it looked like the cricket gun from Men in Black. And so at the end of the dance, every time I shoot that little dart out. And I have so many vivid memories of being like this little like dance monkey dance, you know? But there's a part of me that loved it until I started becoming like a little angsty. But it was never in the cards for my parents to see me go into entertainment. And you know, we talked about this, but they spent so much of their money sending me to like the best high school that I could get into. Pushing me to go through college, and then I drop out / flunk.
Yeah, how dare you?
Yeah, you know, it makes me seem really ungrateful. But from a selfish standpoint, like honestly, that's just not where I excelled or where my passions lied. Even when I finished college, I was like, I hated it, you know, because it was a slog, and all I wanted to do was get down to at least Los Angeles and see what I could do. I'm glad it took the time that it did, because like moving was hard. Like growing up in San Jose and telling someone you're an actor, it's like telling them that you want to be like a clown or something, because they're just like, oh yeah, so what are you really gonna do for a living?
That was YouTube.
Yeah, and
that was literally YouTube for us.
But the dawn of like the digital age, like you just mentioned, it changed everything. Yeah. Like because now me and my friends could go off with our point and shoot cameras, film a like parkour music video, edit it together. I was learning basics from all that stuff. And then it was like, oh wait, I really love cameras. I like recording footage. I like being funny on camera or whatever. But like, I never thought I would get to a chance to actually like pursue acting to that degree, because there was so much tension with me and my family. And even to this day, like, they're a little bit more understanding now, but the hardest part was always the generational gap, or like understanding. None of my aunts and uncles got it before, but now I show up to a party, like a family party, and they're like, "Oh, selfie, JJ, selfie," and it's like a rush of them. And it's just like, none of you believed in me, which is not entirely true.
It's until you took your mom to a BTS concert,
right? Yeah, it's like until I started like, oh, he's doing stuff, you know. It definitely was like, that was probably the hardest thing, and also like the personal kind of sacrifices you have to make, like. You know, I had girlfriends throughout that time, and one moved with me to LA, and she couldn't hang in that city. And then because I was there with her, I was like, I can't do this city. When she left, I was like, wait, this place is pretty great. And so it's just like, you know, like it has to be, your environment has to be right. Like you need to have the right support system, and finding all those pieces was so difficult. But yeah, I mean, in terms of inspiration, like it was always like the pop culture blockbuster stuff that like caught my eye, but it doesn't mean that, but that opened the door for me to like really fall in love with international film or cinema film, you know, like the Scorsese's and, you know, the Tarantino stuff. But when you're young, that's not stuff that I was watching. Like, if my first rated R movie was Spawn, the director's cut, which is like super random, but still a superhero movie. You know,
clue what Spawn is.
it's just it's another comic book character by Todd McFarlane, but he's like from hell. That's like the big, his powers are from hell, and so it's just like, oh, that's like the big rated R part of it. And then on the other side, like my mom liked pop culture enough. You know, we watched Pretty Women a lot. Yeah, but you know, she consumed the media, but it's weird that she doesn't care for it as much as you know I do, because I was so surrounded by like Jurassic Park and Pretty Woman. I love rom-coms now. Titanic, you know, we had like a bunch of VHSs.
What's that? I'm just kidding.
But I don't know, man. Like, like my inspirations came from everywhere. I think I'm one of those people that genuinely enjoys things. Yeah. I'll go watch a bad movie and I'll find something that I liked about it. And so I think that was beneficial because it allowed me to like just consume a lot of stuff. And hopefully I'm better because of it, as opposed to what they told me is like your brain cells are dying when you're watching TV or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It was like
I don't know if that's true, but I feel like it's true. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm pretty dumb.
Like, I don't believe in it, but I wouldn't be surprised because
there's got to be some science there.
Like,
yeah.
if anything, it got rid of the brain cells that I don't want, and then it kept the ones that I want.
Hey, way to reword that.
Yeah.
Like perspective, right?
Yeah.
Perspective.
Yeah, I can completely agree with you. Like, growing up, and I don't know for maybe you guys, Chris and Enoch, but like when you say like I want to pursue YouTube growing up, you are looked so down upon. Like you're like what, 3 years difference, right? And so like when you said I'm gonna pursue videography, what do people say? What was the response?
I told my parents I had to like frame it and like, no, dude, I'm gonna do it towards like business, and then I'm gonna go to like marketing. And then my parents were like, even then they were like very hesitant.
Yeah.
To say, I don't know.
Yeah, so for me, I remember like growing up in church, and then my own pastor, I would tell him, like, oh, I'm going to do YouTube. Like, I was in probably like 6th or 7th grade. By that time, I already met like Wong Fu and stuff as a kid, and I was like, I'm just going to do YouTube no matter what. Like, and then my own pastor would be like, that is the dumbest thing ever. Choose a real job. And you know how like sad that is for your like mentor or whoever, whatever position, right? And I'm just like, well, I know other people were around there, and to that day, like a lot of my friends remember that conversation, and they're like, oh, remember the day you told blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, like, but you're still doing it, right? Like, still pursuing that like direction. And
fueled by hate.
I don't know if it's fueled by hate. I just think I wanted to prove people wrong.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like there's something interesting about that, because when a mentor does something like that, or says something like that to you, there's two ways you could react. You can let it destroy you and give up and realign, or it reinvigorates you. Yeah. There's a Robert Downey Jr. quote. It's like,
who's that?
Come on, man.
Did he die or something?
I think so.
He won that war.
Wait, spoiler alert. Sorry, spoiler. Oh my god.
But he says like, smile, nod, and do whatever the F you were gonna do anyway.
Yeah.
And like that was motivating for me when I saw that, because he's like one of my favorite actors, you know? And like especially when you see someone make like a comeback, it's very, very inspiring. And I mean, that sucks though. Like that sucks that it took someone like that you look up to being rude or discouraging. That changes the trajectory of people's lives.
It was painful, but at the same time, I know I had so much fun, because at the end of it, like at church, my pastor would always ask me to make the church videos and stuff too, and I'm just like, I'll still do it, but like in the back of my head, it's like, you need me more than you think, like, and I even like filmed his wedding and stuff, and so it's just like, oh, how the tables have turned.
Talking.
Yeah. But I love him. I respected him enough to know that he was just looking out for me, and I would probably tell the same to my kids if, who knows, down in the future they're like, oh, I'm a cryptopreneur. What is that?
I'm a metaverse creator.
I'm a metaverse creator.
I'm a metaverse nurse.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Like, what does that even mean? Like,
I fix avatars with code.
Yeah. Like, like if my kid said that, my goodness, I think because I've been through that like era of like unknown, I will probably be more open, but tell them like good luck. Like it's tough. Yeah. Was that this? It's I wouldn't say it's like an experience, but like I'm sure like telling your family or like friends like it was almost borderline embarrassing sometimes. Right?
I don't think it was embarrassing because I think my bigger bro Manny paved the way for me.
Oh yeah,
Because he took all the
brunt.
There's like a meme where there's like a soldier
With all
and all the arrows flying towards him, and I'm the kid on the bed, like. But I think my moment was I wanted to do streaming, like when Twitch was Justin.tv. That's when I like
Justin.tv.
Yeah, Justin, like the name Justin. Twitch used to be Justin.tv.
No way.
Yeah, and I made an account and I wanted to stream because I was like, yo, like I'm playing video games already. It seems like something I wanted to do, right? So I didn't have like the gear, right? I was like high school.
The cleavage.
I have the cleavage and it was like I didn't have the tools, like a good computer, good internet, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Like stuff you need for streaming. So I asked my parents, I was like, can I do this? Like, I'll make a deal with you. Cause I think I remember one, like now Twitch streamer, made a deal with his parents to do like pro gaming for 2 years to see where it go. And I think I took that as like a motivation for me where I was like, I'll do this for 2 years and like all you have to do is invest some money in me and I'll show you what I can do. Right. But obviously with the Asian parents are like, no, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, especially with money, it's like harder for them to let go of that. So it was like, no, what are you doing? Like just study.
Yeah.
Go do your work. So I try to do it on my own. Like I try to sneak like a stream here and there. But I think because I didn't have that like support, it kind of just fell off for me. So that dream kind of just died. And then now like Twitch is huge. Yeah. And I'm like, Mom, we could have been set.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I think that's the risk, but it's all timing too. It's like maybe like you wouldn't have actually enjoyed it as much. Yeah. Because there's a lot of people that get burnt out and only did it because it was trending, right? Like you could see the biggest example is Logan Paul. Like he always says that wasn't him. Like that was probably a younger version of him, but he only did it because of what was happening. But now like looking at himself, he's like, I'd rather just do podcasts and just talk to people all the time. Like, I don't want to do anything else but that.
Yeah. I mean, it comes with age, right? I feel like that younger age that we have is like for exploration. And then at a certain point, you're just like, I kind of know what I want to do.
Yeah, you test and figure out things.
Yeah. You figure out where you fit in the general direction you're going. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What are your like future plans? Because like you want to stay in acting now, I'm assuming, and then what do you want to eventually be a Marvel superhero?
Oh, like, well, that would be cool. I mean,
hey, you gotta manifest it, man.
You know what? I'll tell you some of my long-term goals.
Okay. Yeah.
Ultimate dream: if I could be a working actor, I don't even need to be a famous actor. A working actor would be wonderful. Yeah. But if I could be known for something like a role, like a legacy role, or like even like you think about like How I Met Your Mother, all of those actors, Barney, you're always going to remember them from something that you love so dearly. Parks and Rec, The Office, we talked about, Steve Carell and Michael Scott. Like you'll never detach them because it was so impactful. How cool would that be to be able to have a role that impacts pop culture in that way? That would be amazing, but
just a role,
just something. Yeah. But I would love to be in movies. Like this year, I would really want to. This year I really want to try stage play or a musical if I can audition.
I can see you in a musical. Like when I first met you, you're a pretty like character. In a very animated way. Yeah. And you have the features for it.
I tell people I'm like I'm an IRL cartoon. Yeah. Because my eyes get really big, my mouth's really big.
Yeah. You look like as if the AI picture like made something of you, and you are that. Like, because I don't look like anything my AI made, but you probably.
My AI was pretty spot on. Right? It just looked like my face.
Yeah.
an art piece.
Shoot. But beyond that, you know, like I would love to act and stuff, obviously, but ultimate dream goal is like traveling the world over good meals and doing what you're doing right now and like taking cool people on cool trips and like doing that as like a TV show or something or a late night show. You know, like I feel like I have a couple buckets of creative, you know, like creative buckets I want to fill. One is performance, acting. The other is hosting, producing, directing, you know, and I want to fill them both. I don't think this is the kind of industry where you don't really have to stick to one thing. You know, you see people like John Krasinski, great example, started in a comedy show, now directing like blockbuster hit movies
with no sound.
With no sound.
Let me just mute this really quick.
But and within our community, even like Asian American community, you start seeing like, you know, like the Wong Fu guys, they have a restaurant now. You know, it's like you think about stuff like that where it's just like there's places we can go from where we start, you know, and it's crazy to think that like YouTube led to that, or like my little editing on Windows Movie Maker is now allowing me to meet all of my heroes on like a month-to-month basis. I meet someone kind of interesting, you know. It just makes me really excited for the future because it's like whatever expectations I had for myself when I was younger and getting started, I've already kind of exceeded that. And so I'm like, how far can I push or manifest? Like, right, what can I bring? What energy can I bring in order to make that happen? It's yeah, I mean, those are the ultimate goals for me.
To follow up on that, like with like an actor, when you're talking about like Robert Downey Jr., who is someone that you would love to work with?
Oh,
yeah. Besides, or unless it is Robert Downey
I mean,
Jr.
I would love to meet Robert Downey Jr. I don't know if I would have the balls to be able to act alongside him. You know what I mean? But that would be cool.
Yeah.
Director-wise, Edgar Wright is one of my favorite directors. The Daniels, like everything. Like,
the Daniels?
The Daniels are so cool and like they're so sweet.
They're so different.
Yeah,
the way
are.
they think is just like beyond humane level.
Yeah.
It's like the Elons of film.
But they're, you know, it's that genius intellect that's like hidden under like the weird kids, you know, like
they were probably the weird kids in the school.
Yeah.
If anything, like they just kept being weird, and then like I think society like tries to always make you say like being weird is bad, right?
Yeah.
They're ahead of their time.
They are ahead of their time for sure. It's
But
amazing.
I think when people call you weird, it's just because you're ahead of their time. And I think society eventually wraps. That's what I think.
People just don't know how you think, and
Yeah.
so they just say you're weird. I get weird all the time. I'm sure you get it. I'm sure you get it. Like, we all get weird.
You know, like you prefaced me being like, if I could give a piece of advice or whatever, and no, I'm probably skipping ahead, but like that was my piece of advice that I give people. It's like
Be weird.
be okay with being the weird kid. You know, I think people misconstrue spirit and charisma as weirdness because it feels out of the norm. Like you said, like when you met me, I feel like a character, right? It's just like, but that's always kind of been who I am. Once I figured out who I was, this is how I am, you know? And like, I was hanging out with someone for the first time the other day, and she was just like, you are exactly what I thought you would be, and I'm really glad that you are that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, good. At least I'm consistent. If nothing else, I'm consistent, you know? But it is okay to be weird. I love being weird, but you know, like you get bullied for it and stuff, but you just got to push through it. I mean, if it's genuine, you're not just being weird for the sake of being weird, then no, you know, get out of there with that. But like, if it's just who you are, it's not weird. It's just maybe unique to other people.
Yeah, I think being weird is like being more normalized, because like growing up, man, I got bullied so hard for like watching Naruto. That was like considered weird, but that was only because I was growing up in a non-Asian community, right? And like, it's so funny. Naruto is probably like one of the biggest animes like people talk about growing up now, right? And it's just like even Mr. Beast talks about it. Like, it's insane. And so I'm always like, I wish being weird was normalized when I was growing up. And there's so many other kids now that I wish that they have no like walls now. Like, and if they are fully being able to express being weird, I feel like they can go far, like really, really far. Just like the Daniels.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not saying the Daniels are weird. Like, they're obviously like just like us, right? Like they're definitely,
their mind computes in a way that maybe someone else has done. You know, you could see it when you go to like film festivals here in LA, even, right? And you watch like the different shorts made by different people, and there's some people are just like, that's the formula. You know, you've seen how to make a movie before, and then you get those ones that are like a little bit special. Yeah, and those are usually the ones that you remember.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yeah, exactly. That was special. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, another random movie, but it's perfect.
Yeah.
RRR, another movie that was just like wild. Like you just don't know what's happening. A great movie, you know? Yeah. And we're like really blessed to be in a time that we're allowed to try these things and that there's different distribution opportunities, you know? When I grew up, YouTube had like The Guild. Do you remember that? Like a short series? Familiar, Felicia Day. It was like all about like WoW.
Yeah.
Right. And so they were able to make that and create kind of like, you know, I think Geek and Sundry and Nerdist teamed up after that or whatever.
Yes.
But they had multiple seasons. You couldn't do that like what I would say like 20, 30 years ago, right? You couldn't just make a TV show and release it on your own. Same thing with books, right? You could write a book, but you still needed a publisher. Now we could just self-publish things. Yeah. I think
you can make a podcast about it.
And you can make a podcast at home, right? Like all of this stuff, as we have all the resources now, but now the difficulty is being in a space where it's so saturated. How do you stand out? Embrace the weird, you know, embrace what makes you unique and weird or special. Like what is your heart leading you to?
There was a YouTuber, or he's a friend of mine. His name is Jake Tran, and he makes these like, I want to say like documentary type of videos. And it's basically like, for example, Nestle. He dives deep into Nestle and explains why it's such a horrible company, right? He said that in order to break into YouTube and like media, it's by being different. It's not by consistency. It's actually not. If you do the same thing over and over, if you do the same failure over and over and over, it's not going to get anywhere.
That's called insanity.
Yeah, it's called insanity. Yeah, and so I take that like I wish I didn't grow up with the mind of like it's about consistency, because I did try to make 30-day vlogs like every day, waking up at 5 a.m. and following the Casey Neistat method, right? And it's just like, no, that wasn't it, like for sure. And if I just did what I wanted to do, I would totally like be at a different place. But I wouldn't say like that was a bad thing. I think I tried it out and it was still a great experience of going through that process, but it definitely wasn't me. I'm not the type of person to wake up at 5
There's a method to his madness.
Yeah. But it's intense, man. Like I think going into this field with being an actor, that's like I think that's even more difficult than being a YouTuber. I feel like there's a lot more actors in this world, but less people make it. There's a lot of YouTubers, but you generally see a lot of people make it, right? Nowadays, I might be wrong, but there's so many niches now, right? Like there's makeup, there's arts and craft, there's DIY, right? And so you can make it in your own field, but in acting, it's just acting, right? Like I'm sure there's Broadway musicals, right, and whatnot, but it's just like there's only I could name 5 of them all on my one hand, and just like that's it. Right, unless there's more, it might not be as
for Broadway musicals.
No, just like in general, like for acting, it's
well, it's only because it's old, right? YouTube is more new, so it caters to a larger audience, right? Different niches, different areas, but like Hollywood is old, where it's like catered towards one section. Where it's like, how can we make the most money?
I think it's also because there is an infrastructure of like there's people that are saying yes to certain, you know, like you get a job, and the rest of you we won't talk to you for a while.
Rest of you, good luck. Get older.
That's the worst part of acting, in my opinion. Is like auditions that come in and they're like really demeaning, or it feels like it feels like they don't know who you are. Like one time my agent sent me something that was like, must have dad bod or something. I was just like, what's a dad bod? And I was just like, whoa. Just like not fit like looks like you've had a kid for a while.
Yeah.
And I was just like, do you guys think I have a dad bod? You know, like you get into your head about it, and then and a lot of the times it's just based. It's like based on your looks too. You know, I'm not
very judgmental.
I'm not tall. You know, so like I'll walk into a room on a callback and I'll stick out like a sore thumb because I'm tiny and brown. You know, and like you see these Adonises around me, and it's just like if it's very competitive. And I think YouTube is really competitive as well. But I think what makes acting, at least for me, difficult is that you don't have any control. I mean, you could do your best in an audition and self-tape, but you don't have any control at the end of the day if you're going to get that paycheck or that job.
Yeah, and I just want to acknowledge that statement because I don't think like people who have never done an audition understands the pressure.
I've never done one. You've done a few.
Yeah, I've done a few.
You were in a Walmart commercial.
I was in a Walmart commercial.
Nice.
I thought that was so funny. I saw him just like, yeah. Dude, you better keep that forever.
But yeah, like I think because I had that experience, I realized like how much goes into an audition. It's not just I'm a good actor, but it's more of like you have people judging you from across the screen.
Yeah.
Not even across the screen, like maybe 10 feet in front of you, and you have to portray this character in front of them. And I think that's something that most people don't understand is like the intensity of like trying to break that mold of like me as myself and me as a character.
Yeah.
And separating yourself is so hard, especially when you're like in your head or like, you know, some things about your life may come up during an audition and doesn't get you in the zone. So I think there's so much that goes into an audition that I think most people don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't look hard, right? Yeah. But when you have like 6 pages to learn in a night, or if
it doesn't look hard at all. But when I tried for the first time, well, I didn't even try. Wong Fu just asked me like, "Can you be this role?" And I'm like, "Sure." Why not? Show up. I'm like, I only have one line, but I'm so nervous. Like, and it's just like, I forget like, oh yeah, there's thousands of people that are gonna watch this. I'm like, oh, I can't mess this up. Or like, how do I look the best, right? There's so many things going through your brain, and I'm like, wow, like this is what it means to be an actor. I'm not doing this.
Side note, I gave one of my favorite auditions of my life this year to Wong Fu.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which ones?
I can't say, but I didn't get the role. Okay. But it was really fun. It was like fun to like play, and it was like my first time getting like, because I met Taylor at Unforgettable last year.
Oh, sick! Yeah.
It was like the first time that I like got a Wong Fu audition in my inbox, being like, oh my god, you know. I grew up with YouTube too, and Yellow Fever was like mind blowing to me at the time, you know. Just being like, yeah, I get that, you know. Yeah. But it is like you can feel like you killed something, and just like, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna get this, and then not. Yeah. Like I booked a Red Robin commercial recently. Ooh. And like I really did not think I was gonna get that. Like,
but you got it.
But I got it. And like
Red Robin.
Wait, is that the one that's unlimited bottomless fries or something?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy because it was just like eat a burger on camera, pretend you're talking to some friends, and I was like, you pantomime. Yeah. And so these are like the weird things you have to do. It's just like, like whatever. But I was actually eating, and then I got to the callback, and then I was talking to all the people, and they were like, "Yeah, what did you guys talk about in your audition?" I was like, "I was silent. You guys were talking." Like, yeah, we told stories, and I was like, "How did I get here?" Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you're expected. You go in the room, and it's like, "All right, improv a conversation." And you're just like, okay, I guess.
They just put you on spot.
And then they change it up.
To do it.
And that's to your point. It's like you could be mentally prepared for a really emotionally taxing scene. Yeah. And then they'll be like, awesome work. Let's try something different. And you're like, uh-oh. Like, you got to adjust, like whatever. Some people, they really put themselves in like an emotional place.
I have...
It's hard to switch it. Yeah.
I have a goal now. I want to audition for Santa Claus. Huh? That is my goal one day.
Like as a mall Santa?
Yeah. Oh. Or like on a commercial. I know I don't fit the part, but if I could break that,
That's certainly a challenge.
Yeah, and that will be like on my deathbed, like I was Asian Santa.
I don't know what face to make, except I'm shocked to hear
Yeah,
this.
they, like,
After
make-
knowing you for so long, this is probably the most shocking thing.
They like make like
Fat suits, yeah.
fat suits and stuff, and so I'm like, this is totally possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
That
can
is
do
a
it,
funny
man.
goal. That is good.
But you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Randall played Asian Santa for a Wong Fu short, and
That's
I was
true.
I was like, but he's not big, you know. Santa's jolly and big, like.
His belly needs to change.
do
maybe
it
in the next 5 years he won't be jolly.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? But I saw this funny Wendy's commercial recently, and it's like I was running at the gym, and I just watched commercials, and it's like Santa like at Wendy's, but like all the staff are like, "Is that Santa or not? Like it looks just like Santa." And like I think it is, but it's not. It's just an average guy that looks like the beard, and so one of the employees just sits on his lap. It was just like I can't hear the audio because it's at a gym, but it was just such a funny commercial. Like
Yeah.
I wish I had that part. Like I wish I was Santa, or the guy sitting on his lap, one or the other. But
Yeah. There are some fun, cool things that you can do once you book, but
Yeah.
getting booked, that's always the
I'm
hardest
sure.
the
part.
hardest part.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's different for like, you know, commercials like general brands, and then there's acting for like movies,
Like
right? And
theatrical,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, and so like, you know, like going back, you said you wanted to have a specific like role and everything, but I guess when did that come to you? Like, because you said you were in the field working, kind of. When did you say like, oh, I'm gonna be an actor? I'm gonna pursue Hollywood. At what age?
I first felt the bug. I knew that I was like wanted to do something entertaining, but when I saw like a high school play that my
It wasn't the family
no,
show.
and
that
it
you
wasn't
put on?
that. It wasn't that. But when I remember seeing my friends doing like a stage play and thinking, I wish I could do that. And I never asked my parents about it because it would have been shut down immediately. Instead, I did sports and student government, campus ministry. You know what I mean? Like everything else but performing arts.
Wow.
But then in college, I started to like get a little butthurt when no one wanted me to act because I was like, I think I'm good, you know, but it's like if you got to put yourself into those to those roles, but it had to be like 18, 19 that I made a choice that I was gonna like try to find a way to pursue it. And granted, it did not happen right away. You know, I worked at Jamba Juice, a seafood restaurant, and an Apple store. I was going to school full time. I was just trying to save money. I was in a relationship. We both moved down together after having money, and then I had no money because I moved to a different city. You know, but once I was here, you know, like it was just a matter of finding those resources, like signing up for background acting, hoping that I would get booked in something else, doing like non-union work, right? And then it became like a matter of like, wait, just make it yourself. If you're not getting booked, make comedy yourself, make, you know, like a short film yourself. And I've been really lucky to like meet like a network of people that just trust me with roles or trust me with like, I don't know, they just like want to work with me. That's a really good feeling.
No, yeah,
This is Riz.
that is
The
Riz.
Riz.
When I met you and then I started following you and then I see all your content, it's like, dude, this guy is amazing.
Oh wow.
Like,
I
He's not just saying that.
I almost cried for a second. I was like, wow, no one calls me amazing.
no, because you're a great host. Like,
thank you.
or interview, like. You might be better than Josh. Like honestly.
Oh, don't say that. He's so handsome and charming.
No, Josh is great at food, introducing food, and yeah. But you know, like you make it very like a show. You know, like in a different. Josh makes it a show too, but you make it into a very like. It's not just like you're asking questions. You're like putting on a show. You're literally trying to get more involved than just words, and it's great. And so like that's what stands out. And I think the last question I kind of wanted to ask, and if you have any other questions that you thought of, like feel free to ask at the end. But growing up, wanting to do film and acting, now that you're doing it, when would you say that you've made it?
Ooh.
What is that mark? And it might change, obviously.
Yeah.
But like as of right now, when can you tell yourself you've made it?
Man, that is the question, isn't it? How do you measure success, I guess, for yourself? Some people will do it financially or whatever, but for me, I don't know. I feel like I fall into like that personality type that where I'll achieve a goal and then it won't be enough because I need to chase the next thing, which is a problem I have in a day-to-day life where I just need to like live presently and enjoy what I have right now. So I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that question. That's a really hard question because it's like I'm at a place in my life where it's like, wow, I always told myself I would love to interview celebrities. You know, I saw people do it at Comic-Con on TV.
And you're doing it now.
And I'm doing it now, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And then I'm still hungry. And I too wonder what is gonna be the thing that I can leave this world satisfied, you know? Which is like, but I also think I benefit from having drive like that because I'll always be searching for the next thing, I guess. But
I forgot, I bumped into you at a K-pop concert.
yeah,
At ITZY. You know what's crazy? I was not expecting you there.
ITZY.
Yeah. And I think I can answer it for you. It's when you perform with a K-pop star on a set.
Oh, that would be so sick.
Imagine like you and it's ITZY member just like on a movie.
Like a McDonald's commercial. They just did a McDonald's commercial. I'll be like, hey, ITZY, I did a Red Robin commercial. We got we're burger buds.
And she sings "Ba-da-ba-ba," and you're like, I'm loving it. No, yeah, I totally forgot I bumped into you.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah,
that was so unexpected. And I actually went there. I know of ITZY.
Yeah,
not a huge fan. But I became a fan.
Yeah,
that was. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was my first K-pop concert.
Yeah. I mean,
and I want to go to all of them now.
Yeah,
I'm so sad I didn't get to go to BTS's.
Blackpink, BTS.
I missed Blackpink because I was broke.
Oh, I just went to it. Oh my gosh,
you did go to Blackpink.
I did go.
Yeah,
that was my second concert, and wow,
yeah,
that was so fun.
Lisa, wow.
Oh, sorry, I'm a
Jisoo.
I'm a rosé.
I'm a Jisoo guy.
Hey, we all have our biases.
But yeah, I wonder what they're thinking. You know, like when will they say like they've made it? Right? Do they think they've made it?
I mean, when you're like that big, I don't know what the next like. I don't know,
because they don't get to have a normal life. Right?
That's
so
true.
they can't gauge like people saying like, "Oh, dude, bro, you've made it," or "Sorry, sis, I don't know, whatever."
Yeah.
But like, how do you gauge that?
I wonder if it's like a grass is greener situation for K-pop stars, where it's like, I can't wait to have a family. You know,
It's interesting you guys say that because I was just listening to a podcast with Jackson Wang and the Kinjas.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how like there's always an insatiable hunger. So I think
That's dangerous.
It is dangerous, but I think it's like a level perspective, right? Which is like you obtain this level, but you're still hungry. Like as you said before, like there's you now interview celebrities, but you're always hungry. And I don't think that hunger will ever go away. And I think that's just because it derives from passion, right? We're passionate about what we do, and that's why we see no end to it. Like we see goals and we meet those goals, but then those goals become the starting line for something else.
Yeah. Because while you make those journeys, you have to also imagine that your body or like your mind, whatever it is that you're training, is getting stronger alongside of it. So by the time you get to that, it feels like, oh, I conquered this because I was ready for it. You know what I mean? So what is the next thing that you build yourself up towards? That's a big question.
Yeah.
But if I had to give a definitive answer, man, I want people to know me for acting and hosting and not just be working at a company. You know what I mean? Like editing for someone else. Like right now I'm Law from Cinema Blend. I just want to be Law or Lawrence Sharma, whatever they call me. I just want to be that, but doing what I love, you know, which is why we talked about like, I want to create my own channel again. And I want to like make content for me, not for someone else on my terms by myself.
Yeah.
But then that's like a whole other full-time job that I'm like committing myself to. So we'll see.
You know, I could, if I were to like deep dive into like from knowing what you do and how you perform, I would say you'd be a great late night show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Get James Corden out of here. Give it to me.
I mean, he's already.
I know he's kind of like walking out.
Hey, I like all of them. I think all of them are fun in their own ways.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree.
But I miss Conan.
Me too. He was the best.
Yeah, I
He
think
was top tier. Conan O'Brien? Oh, his show just ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He's
It
still.
just ended like that?
Yeah.
He has a podcast. It's
Okay.
Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, but
Yeah.
it's not the
not the
scale
Conan-
of Team
yeah.
Coco's production.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
used to go to his a lot, and it was just so fun. And like, Ellen wasn't as fun, but you get a gift after, so it was great.
Oh.
But Conan was just like, I remember Matt LeBlanc came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's Friends. Like, and
Yeah.
he has like gray hair and everything. I'm like, you're old. But then I looked at Conan from like when he first started, and now I'm like, you're old.
Yeah.
Jesus, but it's amazing. Like I Conan is like top tier level comedy. I don't. He's not British too, right? I feel like everyone that has a late night show is British. At this
Yeah,
point.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
But I told myself a long time, like one of my dreams was to be famous enough or work on something that Conan would interview me. And that unfortunately may not happen,
Hey,
but he has a podcast still.
you never
So
know.
you never know.
You never know. There's many things like Bill Gates still doing stuff. You know, like
Yeah.
people have dreams of wanting to meet Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Mine is Nardwar.
Oh yeah. I strive to be an interviewer like Nardwar.
If you get, I want to know things I didn't know about myself.
Yeah. Have you seen Hot Ones before?
Oh yeah.
So Sean Evans and his department are really good at like research, right?
Yeah.
Then there's this guy named Nardwar. I don't know if you've ever seen his videos, but he'll interview like rappers and music artists, and he'll know things that no one knows.
Is this like Hassan Minaj in Patriot Act, where he like interviews like the chairman and the presidents and like goes deep into all their like roots of evil?
deeper.
Yeah,
it's like
childhood facts and like
it's like things that
Wait,
you
that's
would never
so
know.
funny.
Yeah, it's
that
crazy.
sounds so fun.
It's cool because the reactions are the
Yeah.
best.
That's
They'll be
the
like,
best.
But how do you know?
they'll just be
that's
like,
what they say.
How do you know
do
about that album? Like I made that when I was like 11.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
I
how
gotta
do you
find
know?
this out.
I strive to be like, and I think because people like him and Sean Evans exist,
Yes.
it makes you want to level up your ability as like an
100%.
interviewer. You know, like
Because the amount of effort they put into deep diving into the
Yeah.
person they're
Yeah.
interviewing, it's insane.
That's
Yeah.
so funny. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Nardwar has like a character too.
yeah, he does have a character. Yeah, he like wears like a golfing hat or something.
Yeah.
He has a look, but then he also like spoke to the Supreme Court. I'm pretty sure about like I can't remember.
No, there was
look him up. Yeah, there's
he
like
used to do like or there's a clip of him in court speaking,
Yeah, what
and
was
he'll
it?
bring up like this fact
Yeah.
about something that was like something that they were talking about, and then just completely disrupted the whole
Yeah.
court because it was like
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, how does he know? You know,
That's
it's like just specific things.
yeah.
It's just like, Ducky, what does it feel like to have mandu earlier? And you're like, well, how did you know I had mandu earlier? You know, like, but it's like more like
Yeah.
specific.
specifically something. In your
Oh,
past.
is it like
Yeah.
when you were 12 when your mom told you this?
Yeah, something like
how
that.
did that
Yeah.
occur when you were
And it's
living
like-
at 134 Glendale Street?
Exactly.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
if he knows that.
Yeah.
He probably got a private investigator. There has to be.
Who knows?
Who knows? Who
My
knows?
theory is that he's able to get in contact with like family,
The
friends,
devil.
and the devil. Yeah. Those are the two only options.
Man, with the information he spews out sometimes, I'm like,
That's awesome.
Yeah. What did
That's
you?
awesome.
What kind of deal did you make?
even I say, how do you know? Because I'm like, that's so specific.
Was there any questions that you thought of and wanted,
Oh, yeah.
or did we answer them? Like,
Well, I mean, I don't think we touched bases on like we mentioned how good Law is as like as an interviewer, as a host, but we don't understand what the work he does before he does an interview. So that's kind of like the question I want to ask you, because I feel like a lot of people don't understand the amount of preparation you do, like diving, like especially like since we just touched subjects on like Sean Evans and Nardwar and how they have their own departments of doing research just for that interview.
Yeah.
But you're a one-man show. You're a one-man team. So how is that? work for you?
Yeah, I mean, prep is everything in these interviews, right? You get a small amount of time. You got to figure out how to best utilize that time. And luckily, I have a larger team that I can like reach out to and get some suggestions. But when it comes down to it, it's me asking, it's me organizing. Greatest research tool that I ever had was Google and the films that the people were in, right? Yeah. And so, like, in the days leading up to the interview, you'll find me like binge watching things or like re-watching things or like going on YouTube and watching like in the evenings. That's my entertainment. Is like I'm actually just watching interviews from other times and being like, they've talked about this, I can't ask about this, or like, oh, there's a controversy there, don't mention this person. You know, like it's very much just like note taking and like research. I think this is the journalism part of entertainment journalism. You know, like I don't consider myself necessarily an entertainment journalist, but I'm referred to as such because I am interviewing these people and then articles are being made. You know, like so it is technically entertainment journalism, but. But for me, it's like hours of just Googling. Sometimes I'll just be like thinking randomly, like, oh, I need to remember that. I'll put something in my notes app. And then on the day, it's organizing my 3 or 4 questions plus extras if there's time in a way that's strategic where I can like flow through it. It's all just, it's like prepping a script before you get on stage, right? Yeah. Like it's all just a lot of time and effort, man.
Yeah. Do you take classes?
I don't. Not
you
right
don't?
Now. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. No classes.
Learn by experience.
I mean, you don't have to, obviously, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, I'm impressed that you haven't.
I've never done classes for interviews or anything like that, but
or just for acting in general.
I've done some mild acting classes, but nothing like crazy. Cause
like a whole course.
Nothing. No whole course. I'm gonna start this year. It's just I've never. That's a part of being a starving artist. Unfortunately, is like a lot of times you just don't have money for the things that you need.
Oh, definitely.
Headshots, classes. Like you know, I worked at an Apple store when I moved to LA on top of Freelance.
You're so lucky.
It was great. And the benefits were great when I was there.
I didn't get the job. I applied.
It's okay. Your life is in a different trajectory.
I know.
There's all these lessons that we're learning at different times, right?
Consumer.
Yeah. But like it I don't know. It can be very, very difficult. I'll say that. I'll say that for sure.
Sweet. Well, thanks, man.
Thanks
for sharing. Do you want to? I wanted you to end it off with some sort of like. What was it? You said it earlier.
Like a call to action.
Yeah, call to action. But I guess for this case, I want to know a quote that like sticks out to you at the moment. You know?
At the moment.
At the moment.
Oh.
Yeah. Because like we said, this is all memories, right? And so eventually you can look back at this podcast and it's going to be up on All True YouTube account forever. Mm-hmm. So
that's youtube.com/
All True donations.
There we go.
Or maybe just / All True. I don't know. I forget. I should know.
Editor, just choose.
Well, there'll be a link in the description.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to steal this from a friend of mine. The other day, she told me that one of her life mottos, because I gave my life mottos, always come proper, be the most patient man in the room, and I'm forgetting the last one right now. That's okay. But she was like, mine is F around and find out. Because if I don't F around, I'll never know what I wouldn't have known if I didn't F around. And I was like, whoa, like that's like, what an interesting way to turn that phrase, which generally means like, you know, F around, find out. I'll show you.
Put that TikTok.
Right? Yeah. It's very interesting to me because it's like, go for, like, I think the core meaning of that is like, go and do the thing that you say you want to do. Yeah. Don't just be one of those people that talks about like, I want to be an actor. Okay, then what are you going to do to get there? Yeah. I'm tired of people like saying they want to do something, and you get a lot of them in this city, in this industry. It doesn't matter if it's New York or Toronto, wherever you're acting or doing entertainment. Like, I'm sure it's the same overseas as well. And those, but you're always going to get the people that will fluff you up being like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. But if they never take action, then what is it? It's just talk, right? Don't be that person. That would be like my piece of advice is like, don't be the person who's all talk and no walk, because you're not going to get anywhere. Yeah. One of my favorite quotes of all time is from a show called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know if you ever watched it. Older Marvel show.
I love that show.
It's the steps you take don't have to be big. They just need to be moving in the right direction. And that was one. I needed to hear that when I heard it. You know what I mean?
You know what's crazy? I just had this conversation with the with the podcast. It was the story with the boy and the horse, and then the fox, and I think there's some other things, but it's the story with the boy and the horse, and then it's foggy and he doesn't know where to go, and then the horse says, the child is like, oh, like I can't see anything. Where do we go? And then the horse says, look down. Do you see your feet? And then the boy says yes. It's like, then just take the next step.
Oh,
That's it. Like, and it's just like, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't know where you're going, just keep going. Like, it's just one step at a time, right? And he literally, like, the last person just said that thing, and I'm just like, maybe that's like,
it seems to
what
be
people need to realize nowadays lately.
It'd be cool to like track it during the course of this podcast. Maybe that's a through line with all these ambitious people. It's just like, as long as you're doing something to work towards where you're going, doesn't matter what field, it's gonna make the difference.
Have you guys seen that movie that just came out, The Menu?
Not yet. I heard it's really good though.
It's really good. Well, it talks about what you just talked about too. It's like people talk about it, but don't actually do it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I recommend it.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, we can end it here. Thanks so much, Law, and you're amazing. Thanks Enoch as
let's
moderator.
You want to shout anything out?
Yeah, you want to say anything?
I mean, if
I
you
don't even know who's gonna watch this, but
you might as well.
If you're curious about finding me, I'm on all socials under Law J Sharma. So
nice.
It's very easy to find me, or you can find my current work at cinemablend.com.
Sick.
Yeah,
He does amazing work.
Yeah,
it's okay.
It's
Maybe
fun to
next
watch.
time he'll be the one interviewing.
Ooh,
Maybe for his.
There's gonna be a little special.
Watch Law like next time, like come up to me like, hey, let's do a podcast, and like, oh, and then he's like, so Ducky, I have a childhood photo of you. Whoa, what did you get?
How did you know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's so
I have
funny.
a childhood photo of you and Wong Fu.
Yeah.
But there is though. I'll send it to you later.
Enoch, I
is
found
all
the
public.
point and shoot camera that you use.
That is all public.
How did you know?
But yeah, thanks so much, man.
Thank you
I
for
appreciate
having
it.
me,
Thanks
yeah.
for driving all the way down.
Oh, yeah.
I know it was a long drive.
I like friendship. I like seeing people.
Yeah. This is a great way to just catch up.
So
And we've always wanted to like chat, but we haven't because I was traveling.
Yeah, you're a busy guy.
But you know,
We're
here now.
Instagram. We do keep in touch on Instagram, which I'm
Yeah,
grateful
do,
for.
yeah.
quite a bit. Yeah, quite a bit.
But till the next time.
Till next time.
Next time.